Jazz, divorce, and poetry.
What up? Hey.
What's good? I gotta do a chocolate style later on thick. I'm the wisdom of Dick Gregory, with the character of Malcolm and the intellect of Baldwin. I'm jazz and hip hop, Miles Davis's horn, and the source of Tupac's passion. I'm the fingers of Robert Glasper, the groove and Thundercats bass, the soul in Dunning Hathaway. I'm the truth in Richard Pryor's comedy. I'm Gil Scott-Heron's poetry. The depth of my honesty rips the fabric of reality. Lay bare and share the world naked. Make sure your expressions are candid statements. Be audacious about your latent feelings. Follow the truth to the letter. Help me burn the bullshit down so we can get more out of our time together. Kumbaya until the fire lit up. But watch your mood ring, because your attitude can bring misconceptions like society is supposed to make adjustments, provide accommodations for your emotions. Pause the game because you need directions. The world should stop its orbit because you don't know what to do. Time should freeze and wait on you to move. Look, I'm here for you. I'm here with you. But your depression isn't something that I can own. I'm sorry that this connection makes you feel that you don't belong at home. I'm sorry I failed to stop being me, or at least take it slow. I'm sorry that I'm not enough to make you whole. I apologize for holding you accountable to my standard of our love. I'm sorry I assumed it was above conditions. Maybe instead of dismissing your issues, I should have listened. I had no right to project my resolve. For the price of loving you, death is petty. That's the conclusion that I've drawn. I thought our love was a fundamental part of the universe, the elemental core of matter, the answer to the question why, the reason the sun sets to give life a glimpse of the world without the sky. If I had known, you would have found the fondest parts of me abrasive. I wouldn't have expected you to love me the same and wasted your time. Well, fuck you. You had ample opportunity to accept the proof of my love, but you wouldn't accept it because it came after the fact of my mistakes. If you so above, so mature, so motherfucking intelligent, then how are you supposed to feel the love you've been begging for if you reject it? You don't want me. You want a reason for your misery, a reason to be miserable.
We've been married now for 3.5 years, going on 4 years. Been together for 4 years. And we have been through many ups and downs, many challenges that a lot of marriages don't see in their first few years. And those challenges have led us up to the point of filing for divorce. We didn't actually get to sign the papers that we filed, but
we paid for it.
We definitely paid for it.
We paid for it.
Yeah.
Came out the pocket with
so
it,
it was at that point we had both come to terms with not being together anymore.
Well, for a moment there, I snapped right back to it. I'm not gonna lie to it. I snapped right back to it. I feel like that part of me is dead. The person that wrote that poem is gone, and I was reliving dead emotions. I don't feel that way no more. That last part, with the fuck you part, I feel like there's still some parts of me that have that attitude, you know what I mean? Just because of all the time that gets put into trying to salvage or keep something from falling apart that you care about. You know what I mean? And after a while, once it fall apart anyway, then it's just like, well, fuck you then. You know what I mean? So I feel like I still got like a teaspoon of that up in my system, that fuck you. But overall, I feel like an apparition reading that poem.
Now we are rebuilding our marriage from the ground up. So we had decided that there was nothing that was more important than our family and our union. And we've decided to work on things.
So, how did I meet Dominique? I seen her around the campus of Bishop State. a bunch of times. We both took the same major.
The thing that I remember most about when we first met was that he was so funny.
I just see it around it. And I saw her at the poetry show one time. And then I ran into her at the Currency concert.
And I had seen him around at like poetry and at Bishop before then, but I didn't remember any of those interactions, honestly.
Me and Dominique started chopping it up, and I was just like joking and roasting everybody who I had saw. And she was just laughing, and it vibed. It just felt natural to be there with her. Like, it didn't feel like it was a stranger. It felt like it was somebody I had known all my life. And maybe it was just that thing that I was missing. So
from there, you know, after the concert, we vibed heavy, and the energy was always there with us, but we didn't like exchange numbers or anything like that.
So we didn't really follow up. I didn't ask for her number. Sometime after I had, some days after that, we had followed each other on Facebook, and I think she invited me out to watch Deadpool with her and a group of friends.
But I was getting together a group of friends to go watch Deadpool that February, because it was coming out on Valentine's Day, and I wasn't dating anyone, and I'm like, I want to go see this movie, but I don't want it to be weird because I don't have a date to go see the movie on Valentine's Day. So I was getting together a group of friends to go, and he was one of the people that I asked if he wanted to go.
Long story short, we didn't go to Deadpool together. I ended up going with my uncle, and she ended up going to the group by herself. And then time passed again. I had a show coming up, a poetry show coming up with Black on Black Rhyme, Step to the Mic Poetry Troupe. It was our first show.
Yeah, at the show, we ended up linking.
And she showed up there. And I saw her in like these jean shorts, these jean booty shorts with the cheeks hanging out. I came over there, and I was joking with her again. And I was just, you know, we was vibing and stuff. And then I performed, and then after the show was over with, we gave a hug. But that hug was like so deep. It's like, I felt like neither one of us wanted to let go. And we almost just kissed for like no reason. Because after we just looked at each other for a long time, and then it's like we snapped to reality, like, whoa, I don't know this girl like that. And, you know, she don't know me like that. And then we just like went our separate ways, but it just like stuck with me. So, you know what I mean, I asked for her number right after the hug, and then we text the entire time we were away.
And he was actually there with two females that he brought.
Both of them were people of interest at the time, but the entire time I was with them, I was messaging Dominique because it was something that was real. And so I dropped off both of them to their respective places, and then I scheduled a date, our first date together.
Our first date, we went to Carrabba's, and it was beautiful. And we
were both sick as dogs. Like, both of us had like the flu or something. Like, it was weird how both of us were sick. And we just came, after we got done laughing and talking about a whole bunch of stuff, we just came to the conclusion that we were just tired of games and bull. And then I walked her to the car, and that's where we had our first kiss. And I think when we kissed, it just like, it sealed our destiny. We've been together ever since.
We had our first kiss, and what was crazy was I texted him that night when I drove home, and I told him that it was weird, but when we kissed, I had a vision of our wedding, what our wedding would look like. And I knew that I was gonna marry him after that first kiss. different about where we are now versus where we are before you wrote that poem? What's different about where we were together?
We wasn't together when I was writing the poem. We wasn't together emotionally. We were there physically together, but we were emotionally disconnected. We were like roommates at the time that I was writing that poem.
And where do you feel like we are now?
I feel like we are at the beginning, like we were when we first started talking to each other. When I was staying in Barrington Park and you were staying in Barefoot. I feel like we're just rebuilding. We started all over and now we're rebuilding, and we see each other now as we're rebuilding. That's why I feel like, I mean, obviously we can't just jump back to the way things were in our prime, you know what I mean? But I feel there's a peace and an understanding and a mutual respect for each other as we build. I really feel like we're still learning a lesson. Every day I think about how many men have been in my position and how do they survive. I know I ain't the first one that went through to this point, to the point of actually sign what we didn't sign it yet, but we paid for it, everything. I guess the only lesson I see out of this is just learning how to let go. And you know, when a boat rock, just rock with it.
That's facts.
And you know what I mean? Because I feel like, and all I've been trying to do is trying to keep it steady. But you know, storms gonna come, and you just gotta adapt to the weather. I think that's a lesson I've learned. But just enduring throughout this, like, what do you do with the pieces that's left? I don't know what to do with the pieces that's left. I let the storm rock it, and it was out of my control, and now I'm just in a half-eaten ship. And I'm trying to learn how to live with it, how to rebuild it, so we can keep floating.
This is us.
This is us. You gonna start the video?
Yeah.